All right, guys. So we got a huge update here on congressional action in regards to the UAP phenomenon and David Grusch's bombshell whistleblower claims that he has made recently. If you haven't been caught up, David Grusch has claimed that the United States has a secret crash retrieval program of unidentified aerial phenomenon of various different sorts, and that for years and decades, dating all the way back to the 1940s and maybe even the early 1930s, if you believe what he's saying, that the United States, in conjunction with other countries in the world as well, has been retrieving crashed aerial phenomenon, and in some cases there's been pilots that have been found on the inside, according to David Grusch. Now, he's a very high-ranking military officer who has top-level security clearance, and he's basically the highest-ranking person to ever come forward and say what he has said. The difference between some guy out in a farm in Iowa and saying what David Grusch is saying and David Grusch saying what he's saying is that he has very high level security clearance and apparently has secondhand knowledge, at least, of people telling him things that they've seen and people that are part of the program confiding in him various different aspects of this crash retrieval program. Okay, so yesterday, Marco Rubio goes on News Nation, who's been reporting on this story, and he says that he has knowledge of other whistleblowers that have confided in him and have testified to him about the same thing that David Grusch is saying, and that there are other whistleblowers who are able, ready, willing, and able to corroborate what David Grusch, excuse me, has claimed. And so Rubio is saying that he has knowledge and of other people testifying the same thing to him. And now Rubio is a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, and he has very high security clearance, just like David Grusch would have. So now today, we have more congressional action being announced. I've more or less caught you up to where we're at on the 27th. I implore you guys to go and look into more detail into all of this stuff, because it's some crazy, crazy stuff. But anyways, let's get to the article here. Exclusive. Gillibrand scheduling hearings with UAP whistleblower David Grusch. Congressional investigations into UAPs continue ratcheting up. Senator Kristen Gillibrand, Democrat, New York, is working on scheduling hearings with UAP whistleblower David Grusch, along with the current or former government officials who seem to corroborate some of his claims. Gillibrand says they'll be open to the public if Grusch agrees to allow cameras in, open to the public. Yes, this is what we've been wanting for years and years and years on this topic. Okay, this is what all the people that are in the UFO community have been clamoring for, is public open hearings where they don't go, we're going to have a hearing, and for the hearing they find, oh yeah, there's nothing credible. We're not exactly sure. Maybe they're there, maybe they're not. And okay, let's not talk about this again for another 15 years now. That what's happened in the past. So this is significant. Open hearings with cameras inside, if Grusch allows, which I don't see why Grusch would not allow cameras, honestly, knowing how he wants this to be exposed to as many people as possible, and he wants the truth to get out. That's a part of the reason. That's the main reason that he whistleblew in the first place, according to his interview on News Nation. So last week, the senator announced she secured full funding for the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office (AARO) in the Senate Armed Service Committee's markup of the FY24 National Defense Authorization Act. You guys can look into AARO. This is this program that's headed by Sean Kirkpatrick. And David Grusch actually has some bones to pick with Kirkpatrick on a couple of different instances that he mentioned in the interview. Like I said, I implore you guys to go and watch the full David Grusch interview. Just watch the whole interview because it's worth every minute of your time. I guarantee you it is. But yeah, anyways, AARO is this this program that has been started by the Pentagon to investigate UAPs and to have a more official face to investigating the UAP phenomenon. Even though a lot of people in the UAP community believe that AARO is basically this front to sully and to confuse and to not let the truth get out, and that Kirkpatrick is basically not an honest broker when it comes to what he says that he's up to and what he does. I don't necessarily know one way or the other enough about Kirkpatrick to make a assertion one way or the other whether or not he's an honest broker, but there's been a lot of rumors, none the least, that have been swirling around about Kirkpatrick. And Grusch basically claims that Kirkpatrick gave him the cold shoulder and told him, well, he didn't tell him anything, actually. He didn't respond at all, because when Grusch was starting to ramp up his investigation into the UAP program that he's discovered in his own time, and that Kirkpatrick basically didn't want to hear what Grusch had to say. He didn't want to hear it. Really, really fishy stuff. So Gillibrand is also pushing a measure in this year's must-pass National Defense Authorization Act in response to Grusch's claim the federal government is hiding Special Access Program, SAP, from Congress. Her proposal would bar funding for any government program that isn't directly funded by Congress. So if there are SAPs out there that are somehow outside of the normal chain of command, Special Access Program, a program that would be that... Sorry, I'm getting a little confused here. The program that David Grusch claims that the U.S. government is hiding would be defined as one of these special access programs that are so secretive and so outside of the bounds of normal law and normal congressional oversight and normal funding regulation. That's what this would be here. One of these SAPs. So she's pushing for a measure. In response to Grusch's claims, the federal government is hiding SAPs from Congress. Her proposal would bar funding for any government program that isn't directly funded by Congress. So therefore defunding these hidden programs that retrieve crashed UAPs, according to Grusch. So if there are SAPs out there that are somehow outside of the normal chain of command and outside the normal appropriations process, they have to divulge that to Congress, Gillibrand recently told me. Wow. So huge news here, huge news, okay? We got congressional hearings being scheduled to happen. And could they be open to the public? I'm predicting that they would be, because David Grusch is the type of person that would want as many people to hear this as possible. So this is really, really exciting stuff here. I can't wait to see what comes next. I can't wait to see what these hearings hold for us, and I am fingers crossed that these are open to the public. I have a good feeling that they are going to be, but let's just wait along and see what happens, because this could be a story that changes the future of our species for forever, okay, if David Grusch is telling the truth. So one way or the other, if David Grusch is lying about this stuff, and if David Grusch is totally making it all up, and we want to get to the bottom of that too, right? There could be no aliens, there could be no UAPs, it could all be made up. but we'd want to know, just in case he is telling the truth, and we don't want to risk not knowing about this anymore, because the faster that humanity is able to accept that we're not top dog even on our own planet, that the quicker we can figure out how we're going to deal with it, and the quicker we can amass our brain power to figure out how to best interact and use this potential technology that is being recovered. How can we use it to advance our species? How can we use it to alleviate suffering? How can we use it to make the world a better place for people to live in it? These are all very interesting questions that people cannot even begin to get to if the United States government is going to continue to suppress the truth from the world to know. So, like I said, we'll see what happens with this. That's all I got for you guys on this one. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Let me know what you think about this crazy phenomenon. I'll catch you in the next video. All right, peace.